Righto, welcome back to the Maximum Cricket Podcast. My name is Munter. We are joined by Lugsy and Jacko for episode 55. Australia won the World Test Championship after Cam Green cheats India out of a 200-run deficit. Scott Boland is the best bowler ever, but will he play in the first Ashes Test come Friday? Someone that is playing is Moeen Ali. He's jumped the queue of every spinner in England and has been added to the squad. Will it be the difference? Plenty of Ashes chat today, including can you name the 11s of the first Test from the 2005 Ashes? Looking forward to that, drafting roast sides and much, much more.
It's a yes man maximum, the first of this contest. Oh, that is brilliant. It's a hero maximum. On the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
How are we today on a crisp Monday night? Lugsy, you're full of hashi, I'm sure. Jacko, you were saying before you had a big Friday. Love to hear about it.
Yeah, just, things get away from you on a Friday night sometimes. So nice to indulge without cricket. I think Friday's the best night for a beer outside of after winning cricket. So, yeah, good to be able to launch into that for a couple of times in the winter while, there's no Saturday hanging over you and no rain card to call. So, no, it was good.
Yeah, very much full of hashi. I was actually lucky to recover because I was quite crook today, so fortunately I had the day off. And I didn't think I'd recover in time, but I thankfully did. It was just a wee 12-hour bug, and filled myself up some hashi and a couple of snacks.
Yeah, that come right just after you ordered hashi, or?
Well, I think it was only the thought of hashi that was getting me through. I think
just the Jordan flu game tonight for you, Lugsy.
Yeah, just add it again.
Righto, let's wrap up the Aussie-India World Test Championship final. If you're living under a rock, if you're living under a rock and you missed the game, Australia won by 209 runs. India did not pick Ashwin, and because of that, they bowled first, got smashed around the first day by Travis Head, who made a runner ball 160-odd. He was supported by Steve Smith, the greatest test player of our generation, according to Virat Kohli. Big praise indeed. He made his 31st 100, which puts him third all-time for Australia. In response to 469, India's top order got Scott Boland before Rahane made 89. He combined with Jadeja Thakur to drag India to 296, 170 odd behind. India, to be fair, were much better in that second innings with the ball, reducing Australia to 160 off for 6. Alex Carey made a very important 60 odd not out to give Australia a chance to declare, with India needing 444 runs, a world record, but for some reason, all of us, including myself, thought India had a chance. And at one point, they did have a chance at 179 for 3. Kohli staring down the barrel of a half century. Rahane looking good. That all changed because the best bowler ever, Scotty B, got rid of Kohli and got rid of Jadeja in the space of 3 balls. After that, India fell to pieces, 7 for 70 odd, to hand Australia the World Test Championship mace, the first team to win every ICC trophy. Boys, bit to unpack from that spicy final, but let's start with a wee question. Which of the following had the biggest impact on the test? Travis Head and Steve Smith, massive partnership. India not picking Ashwin, Scotty Boland, India missing Pant and Bumrah, or Cam Green being a filthy cheat, even though that was an unbelievable grab.
Yeah, obviously tough to look past that first innings, but I think, partnerships happen in cricket. So, obviously, Head tipped out by, a punter that's getting hot. But so I'd love to go with that as the most important. But I think for me, it's got to be Ashwin getting left out. I think you want to live by the sword, die by it, sort of thing. And I think going in, you just got to pick your team that got you there. Some will argue maybe it's not. You've got to pick your team to the conditions, but I think we saw Jadeja in the third innings line in the fourth that spin was going to play a factor in this game. So yeah, I think maybe they missed a trick, and it could have actually resulted in forcing their hand to thinking like they had to field first because they've gone with 4 seamers sort of thing. So. I think the flow-on effects of sort of not picking your best side, but picking the best side for there. potentially is what sort of steamrolled and snowballed into the loss for me.
Yeah, I'll go with that partnership. I thought it was pretty crucial. I thought, as I said sort of last week, I thought sort of scores of 300, 350 were probably going to be pretty competitive with both teams having pretty good bowling lineups, and especially with both teams batting being a bit sort of troublesome. So I thought to get through to 469 was sort of like, obviously you don't win the test in the first innings, but I thought with Aussies bowling, when they got that first score on the board, it was going to make everything very hard for India. So I just thought coming together at a crucial time, Smith and Travis, and yeah, to put that big partnership through, I thought it didn't take away the game from India by any stretch, but I thought it was just going to be very difficult from there.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Lugsy, you nailed it with the that partnership to start with, because if you look at the other scores, you've got India 296, Australia 270 for 8, and then India all out 234. So that 469 is a massive outlier, and to India's credit, they did fight pretty well to just kind of give themselves a sniff on that last day, but they were so far behind in the game after the first day that it really was going to take something special. Look, the Ashwin thing, it didn't help, but I still think they lose if Ashwin plays. Like, I think they just didn't turn up on that first day. The seamers had to really turn up on that first day, and they did in the morning, to be fair. Like, it's 70 off for 3 just after lunch. It's hopping around. Travis Head comes to the party, and that is an unbelievable knock when you think about it, because they're under the pump, and he's just absolutely pumped it and just taken the game away in 2 sessions. And after that, like I said, they're playing catch up. So,
well, I think like Lyon obviously got a few wickets in that second innings, but it was still set up by their by their fast bowlers. Sorry, like they got them. He must have got 4 of the last few, did he?
Yeah, he cleaned up that tail. Him and Stark cleaned up the tail.
Yeah, it was still set up by Scotty Boland, that crucial over, really.
Yeah, Boland was incredible.
Yeah, Boland's quickly coming to be like Hazelwood could not play the first Ashes Test, fit or not. That's scary to think and say.
I've never seen someone like out bowl Cummins from end to end. Like, not saying Cummins bowled poorly. Like, it probably wasn't his best first innings, but you watch them end to end, and it's weird thinking someone's more accurate than Cummins. Like, I'm not saying he's a better bowler than Cummins, but he's just doesn't bowl a bad ball, and he's a little bit quicker than you think. Like, you kind of think of him heavier, like you kind of think of him as like a high 120s, low 130s bowlers, but you look at that radar, it's hitting the stickers at like high 130s. It's like just quick enough where it's not like they can't just bash
feels
him.
like it's got a bit of that Ollie Robinson, or like it's quite like spitty off that length as opposed to being rapid, but when it's moving around and constantly asking that question, very tough to bat.
He's a reasonably sort of strapping sort of lad, so you'd imagine he bowls a bit of a heavy ball.
Oh, they call him the barrel because he's big barrel-chested. So.
That's exactly it. I mean, and we should really highlight it. Very well tipped out by one Jacko, Latham, Travis Head's come back and counter-attacking play. I was doing my Head rankings, actually. It's taken him to second on my sort of top 5. Obviously, still hasn't supplanted actually receiving Head, but he has gone ahead. He's just gone above the Head wind.
Are you a tails man? Are you a tails man when you're flipping a coin then?
Yeah, I am always tails. Tails never fails. And always, I always feel like Head's a safe choice. I always find, and I like to be a bit. It's why I always went valleys in the old mountains or valleys with the flip the bat as well. Yeah, I like to take a bit of risk. Yeah,
good for Travis Head to move up ahead of the head on the coin, just behind getting Head in the Head power rankings. So
well, I tell you what he is. He's well above giving Head, which some may disagree with, but he's well above.
Oh, Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's
No,
just
but
not.
some people probably got it very high up on their rankings. It's just not for me. It's not in there.
Oh,
Funnily enough,
We-
one of your family members probably has this power ranking the other way around.
where do we go from
Very
here?
much so.
I don't know. I'm lost here. I'm absolutely lost. Should we? Because we'll talk about Australia more with the Ashes. So the Ashes chat. So should we just talk about the World Test Championship tournament as a whole? Because there's always every time the finals done, they always talk about, I'd love it to be 3 games and 3 tests, and we'd love it to do this. And I just thought now's the time to just sort of break it down a little bit, and just what do we like about it? What would we change about it? And then if you could just have the perfect World Test Championship, don't worry about schedules and all that sort of stuff, what would that look like in your eyes? So I'll start with what you like about it. Jacko, what about the World Test Championship do you actually like?
I'm a big fan of like result cricket. I think there's I'd like to see we'll say what we like, but I just like that there's a game with a result on the line. And I think that's where one day, like, tournament cricket's so good because it builds up towards something. So I think that's where they're sort of getting it right, is like having that final sort of like moment to the cycle that is for a result. I think there's definitely some things that you could sort of implement to maybe make it a bit better and sort of better reflect the series nature of Test cricket. But in terms of like building towards a result, I think that's just fantastic. It would be a detriment to Test cricket if it was literally 2 years and then like the ICC takes the mace round and gives it to you sort of in a nondescript series after you've sort of won or even lost a series. So having that result and being able to sort of get the mace on the final day when you've won it with your teammates has got to be up there for me.
Yeah, 100%. That's the best part of this World Test Championship is there's a final, so it sort of makes that one game at least every 2 years is going to have real purpose and really have some media around it. And there's going to be a bit of a build up to it. Gives a team a chance to be the clear number one and actually celebrate like that. And it just the best part of it gives every series a bit more purpose. That's where a lot of people sort of, even one day cricket at times when it's a series that doesn't feel very important. That's what every test at least has a bit of purpose in it now. Obviously, there's you get through a year and there's probably only 4 or 5 teams that can realistically make the final. But at least when they're playing other sides, they don't have that opportunity to sort of take it easy and just slip up because it could cost them a place. So. Yeah, that for me is the main highlight of this Test Championship is that it's giving most series some real purpose.
Yeah, for sure. You guys pretty much nailed it there, really. Like, there's no dead rubbers. Every game means something. And like Jacko brought up a good point about there seems to be more results, so there's less like draws, which I think is great for Test cricket. Something you change about it, fellas. Obviously, it's not perfect. We've already said like it's quite good, but what would we change about it?
I've probably got two routes to go. First route, and I've been harping on wanting to see this for ages, but just give me neutral venue Test cricket. Like, just give me 4 or 5 Test teams in the same country, maybe playing like not a tournament, but play a few games here or there, or give me 2-game series completely away in foreign conditions. I think that'd be just unreal to see because you see it in the final. So to maybe see a little bit more of it through the cycle, I think just as a cricket fan, I'd love to watch that and watch really good Test teams challenge each other again in foreign conditions. And then I think there is maybe some room for improvement in the final. From 2 points, one, I think there should be a sort of, you don't share it if it's a draw, you play another day, or you sort of do something there, potentially. But I think the biggest thing would maybe look at, I don't know, maybe like a 2-game series, and top qualifier only has to win 1 test, but the second place has to sort of win 1 and draw 1, or actually win that sort of series. Could be a good way to do it. So like if the top team wins the first test, they're Test championships, but if it's a lose or a draw, you go to Test 2 sort of thing. Again, still
Don't
probably
hate it.
can result in just sort of a one-off game. But yeah, if the second place wins game one, the first place team has to win game two to sort of win the mace back. So I think there could be some inspiration to do something funky there. But yeah, it's serving well, I think, but just need maybe some tweaks to be had.
Yeah, I do like the one-off nature of a final, just because I think you sort of can really build to that one game, and everyone knows like the stakes of one game, so it's easy to sell to sort of people. But yeah, it's a fair point. Like the idea of it being drawn up, like we're playing 2 years of cricket and we're building and we have a draw. That does seem a bit odd. So there's definitely tweaks to be made, maybe with the second game, sort of there. It's obviously, if we want to think realistically about it all, it's very tough to sell that with tickets and media and stuff. The idea that there's only maybe a second test. I think, which sort of goes against what Jacko says, although I sort of like his idea, but I would like to it be completely even in terms of teams playing the same amount of tests. And and like home and away being all that. So maybe you just play each team and, 1 2-match or 3-match series home and away. The idea of like a 3-test series, like a 3-team test series so, maybe you have England, Australia, New Zealand, just for example, all in England. So you've got the best of both worlds where there's crowds still for those England's tests. And then you get Australia and New Zealand on neutral territory. Because you still got to obviously sell tickets to these games and coverage it and everything. So maybe a bit of everything, but I would like the same amount of tests to be played. It's just hard with India playing a lot more, and obviously the Ashes. I was even thinking, does the Ashes need to be involved potentially in this? Is that big enough where maybe that can just stand alone and not be part of it?
Yeah, I think you guys sort of touched on a few issues like the point system and who's playing who's like quite messy, like to the point where you don't play everyone, so you can have an easier run, which I hate when people talk about New Zealand winning it. It's like they say we've had an easier run, and obviously the final was a big deal, but I think it could be a bigger deal, and I think part of the issue is. Not that it's over two years, but there's like a big gap. So like we just had the IPL, and then there's just like this test plonked in June, and there's no build up to this one big test, which is like Test cricket's thing. So I've got a platform here. I've done a lot of research, and I reckon this would be the perfect World Test Championship. Okay, so the first thing that you've got to do, and to be fair, this one isn't my idea. I stole this from another podcaster, Jared Kimber. So the first thing, you've got to sell the rights of the whole tournament as a package deal. So at the moment, it's just the World Test Championship final is ICC related, and then everyone gets a portion of that. But every other Test series is sold as like bilaterals. Whereas if you sold it as like one big tournament, so that if someone wants to buy the Ashes or India or Australia, they're also paying for New Zealand versus Sri Lanka at Hagley Oval. So and it's going to cost them. So it's going to take a little bit of money out of the big three. Money gets dispersed a bit more evenly. So now that Test cricket doesn't lose money, every series can now be like a minimum of 3 games. Everyone play each other. Like, make it longer if you have to. Like, make it 3 years. Like, what's the difference between 3 years and 2 years? Like, just play everyone. And I think, I think the last one here is quite doable. I reckon you have semis and finals.
Yeah.
So you have, and it can be like over 2 weeks. So say it's in London, right? And say this year it's Australia's a top qualifier, and they're playing England, who are 4th in a day test match. They're at Lords or whatever. And then second versus third, it's India versus South Africa. They're at the Oval, and that can be a day-night test match, but they can go at the same time. So basically, you've got cricket from 10:30 a.m. to 10:30 at night, both in London, like the real festival sort of thing. After that, you've got your final. Then you've got 2 weeks of sort of coverage, and I just think by the time you get to the final, it would be humming.
Yeah, I think there's enough big dogs in world cricket to attract 4 like teams. Like I think if we look at like South Africa, fuck it'd be unbelievable to watch like their full flight pace attack in a one-off game on a spicy one, or Bazball. Like seeing Bazball in a one-off game would be unbelievable because it's sort of all the chocolates and that's how they're playing anyway. So yeah, I think there's good enough teams to really service sort of a festival like that, and more eyes on it the better, I reckon, especially for the final stuff.
Yeah, I think you're well, shout out to that podcaster, whoever he was there. That's a great idea, getting semis and finals going.
No, that one was my idea. That one was my idea. It was just the right. It was just the rights, the TV rights. That was his idea.
Yeah. The TV rights is, that's good. That actually is a good idea as well, for pumping money into the lesser nation, because it's gonna. You'd imagine someone would be happy to pay for all to get those real gangbuster series. But yeah, I love the idea of a semi and a final, especially all at the one place, or close venues. Really make it a big 3 week of cricket that everyone sort of the cricketing world sort of focused on. Scheduling so hard with this. I do think that is one of the issues as well, though, is that it's a whole long tournament. Like for the casual observer, they're not going to follow it for 2 years, are they? So, but I guess we're really focusing in on like cricket fans and making cricket fans really be keen for this. And then once you get to semi-finals, then you can really sell it to the casuals more. So yeah, I'd be huge on a semi and a final.
Yeah, nice. Righto, let's do some Ashes stuff. The warm-up games have been completed. Let's get stuck into the most anticipated series since 2005. 2 teams in the form of their life. An Australian team, who in my opinion, this is the best Australian team since that golden era. World Test champions against possibly, not possibly, they are the most exciting Test team ever. Both teams on the verge of greatness. Whoever comes out of this series, their legacy goes up, and I think whoever loses, their legacy perhaps takes a wee dent, I guess. So, what are you most excited about this series, boys?
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I think it's like it sort of feels like Bazball's final boss, like the final thing they've got to face to prove themselves. It feels like there's that the cliche of, but will they do it against our bowlers? Which obviously Ireland was thinking about that at Lords, and they did it. But yeah, I think
worried for a second there.
Yeah, this feels like the final sort of England's final test of if Bazball can hold up. Versus sort of, is it a flash in the pan sort of thing? I don't think it'll be fully detrimental for them if they lose the series, but I think it's a real sort of yardstick for where Bazball's at. And then for Aussie, it's probably a question of how good, where does this team rank in terms of great Aussie sides? This series will probably be the nail in the coffin for where they want to end up in that list. So I think anywhere from the top to sort of even 4 or 5 could be there depending on results of this series.
Yeah, it's great. I'm actually glad Aussie beat India, because it really just builds this Ashes series even more. It would have just taken a bit of the sting out, I feel, if say India had dominated or something like that. So it's good Aussie really showed their class and won that game and built to this. It's just a massive series. I'm fizzing for it. I think, with Aussie, it's just because England, as you say, Jacko, this does feel the way it's all worked out that they haven't played Aussie since, and now it's all led up to this Ashes series, and it's worked out sort of perfectly in that regard. It's funny because England are playing sort of the alpha dog cricket, and I think if you were talking, if you were talking 20 years or 30 years even of who's if there's an alpha in cricket, it's Australia. And it's just going to be, it just feels like, even the older players, the way they comment on stuff about the teams, it feels like they're going to expect Aussie to go really at England and not sort of taken if they're getting dominated, but is that even the best thing for Aussie to do? I don't know. So it's just going to be intriguing. Like the first test is going to like just be so interesting if one team sort of dominates or
Yeah.
and it's good that it's 5 tests because it can really play out. Like it gives it time for teams to adjust and go back and see what's working and not. Like if England go down 2-0 and have been rolled a couple of times, that's going to really test them how they come out for that third test.
Go harder, probably.
Yeah. It just feels like 05. Like I know 05, sort of pre-series, it was Vaughan took over as captain.
Yeah.
They had a few nasties they were going to unleash, and they sort of weren't going to play like the same old England and roll over to Aussie at home. And it just feels like that again. They've got a new captain in, they've got a new mindset of playing the game. So, it's bringing back all the vibes of probably what a lot of people say is the best series maybe ever.
Peterson made his debut. We've got Harry Brook making his Ashes debut. There's a lot of correlations here, eh? A lot of correlations.
A lot of parallels going on.
Should we do some series picks? And then we'll finish those series picks with we'll pick the Ashes score and why, I guess. So let's start with most runs. Jacko, what did you run?
Yeah, I think we probably saw a glimpse of it in the World Test Championship final, and I think this is a player who is on the top of his game. Not the flash of a pan, Travis Head to win your fives, but yeah, Steve Smith I think is, for me, he's probably the best batter in the world at the moment. He was very good in England the last time they were here.
He's ridiculous.
Very, very good. And yeah, I think that series still has a bit of bone. Like you can tell it still niggles away at him, all the Archer chat. A wee
bit.
Bites
back, eh?
Yeah, you can just tell there's a real fight. Like we're talking about maybe the person who loves batting the most ever, but there seems like he wants to do it even more for this series. So yeah, a very highly motivated, arguably the best player in years and years. I think Steve Smith gets it done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't want to bore the listeners here, but I've got Steve Smith marked down as well. I think just because it's 5 tests, like if it was 2 or 3, you can see anyone getting a big 100 and, they get informed for a couple of tests and get the most runs. But I just think over 5 tests, he's just going to be the most complete player. It's hard to see anyone else. I think because everyone else has got sort of their question marks. I think his proven runs in England is just, you can't go past him.
I've got someone else. I'm going with Joe Root.
Yeah, nice.
Now I think this is definitely along the lines of they're due, and I just think that this is the one thing that's missing on his awesome resume. Every single England great has had an Ashes to remember, like an Ashes that they've absolutely dominated. Vaughan 02, Peterson numerous times, Cook in 2011. We're just missing a signature series from Root, and then that just solidifies him as like this great English bat, if you know what I mean. So I think, and all this talk about Bazball, and it all boils down to Joe Root's still the most important batter they've got, and I think he's just got to do it at some point. If it's not now, it won't happen.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think, it's a great point because it's going to be, if he's consistently good, England will be good, and it lets the other guys sort of play Bazball around him. So, yeah, you hope he sticks to his guns, and similar to Smith, he'll be the most consistent over 5 games for England for sure. So, yeah, not a bad shout at all.
What about most wickets, Jacko? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's tough. I think I'm going to go here because I think he might be the only Aussie seamer to play every game. And I think it's an easy one to give out because it might be the best seamer in the world, but it's got to be Paddy Cummins.
It's like a safe pick, eh?
Yeah, I just think having the armband, I did want to go Scotty Boland because he does seem to be the best player ever. But yeah, I don't know if he'll play every game. And I think it'll be the same with the English seamers. I don't think the English seamers have got that guy that's shown that they're going to play for 5 games. Wood and Broad and Anderson have all had time off in series when healthy recently. So I can see Cummins as the only seamer to play 5 tests. So I'll go Paddy Cummins.
Yeah, great pick. as a touch. So I will go Scotty Boland. I just think he's just tailor made for England. I think we've seen a glimpse of it in the Indian Test. I think there's potentially enough issues elsewhere where maybe him and Cummins will have to play all five. Stark sort of didn't show a lot in that test to give me too much encouragement. He's a real odd Mitch Stark. He's so high ceiling but low floor sort of character. Like,
oh yeah, he'd be the best bowler in the world tail up, and the worst with his tail down.
Yeah, and he's the one sort of. I guess he was the one where I was like, if there's a chance like England are going to go at a guy, he's probably it. Like he bowls, I think, the most loose sort of deliveries out of any of them. Because that's something I'm real intrigued with is how Aussie are going to try and bowl to them. If they're going to do, like, you can see Scotty Boland just getting told, like, right, just give us 8 overs back-to-back of a bit wider outside off and let's try and just dry these guys up. And you can just imagine he can just put it there and do that. So, and just from a consistency point of view, I just think he'll bowl a lot of overs, bowl enough good balls and end up taking enough wickets. So I'll go Scotty.
Yeah, I toyed with both of those guys, and I think Cummins is like their obvious pick because he's already said he's playing all the tests. Whether he does or not, I don't know. And obviously he's incredibly good, so that's 2 ticks there. Boland is the sexy pick, but you just can't trust the selectors that they'll pick him all the time, even though they should. I think the best bowling attack possible is Boland, Hazelwood, Cummins. I don't like. There's no almost. Stark just almost doesn't work in England. I think they only played him 1 test in the last series, so they kind of agree. But I'm going to go Ollie Robinson. Now, I just think, like Jacko, you touched on it before, Anderson, Broad, they're going to be rotated, but someone's got to be the consistent player, and I think it's going to be Ollie Robinson. He's younger. I think he's better than Broad. I don't know if he play all 5. I think he hopefully will play like 4. And I just think he's so good, man. I think he's very, very world class. Like he's like England's Scott Boland and Pat Cummins rolled up into one. So yeah, I'm going to go Ollie Robinson.
Yeah, I think
what is Monty Panesar paying?
What's that?
What is Monty Panesar paying top weight?
1,000.
I tell you what I don't hate just quietly on the playing every test is we dabble at Nathan Lyon paying 10s.
He'll get whacked.
Could clean up. Yeah, but that Pakistani took heaps of wickets going at 7, so you know, he might pick up 3 or 4 tests.
Yeah,
them just
I mean he's going
to.
He's going to play all 5. So it's not a bad shout.
At 10s, but just if
not
you
bad.
want some value.
I don't hate it. Speaking of value, series score, boys. This is hard. This is genuinely hard. I've been bouncing around my picks all day, and I don't feel confident in my pick. Yeah. Jacko, we'll go with you first and see if you can sway me. But floor's yours.
So this is probably exactly why they've got it there. But the tabs just really pushing me for a 3-2 series, boosted at $4. That's either team to win the series 3-2 at 4s. So
yes.
I just think that's tasty, and I think
you can't sit on the fence for this, by the way.
That's going to lead me to the final score of 3-2, and I think that will be the final score because I think Bazball will come off at least twice. Aussie, I don't think either team's going to want to play out draws, so I think there's going to just be a result in every game. I just think Aussie have probably shown when it's all on the line and when teams are trying to win games, their bowlers could be too good. So I've got Aussie 3-2. If you've got Cummins, Hazelwood, Boland just whacking that length hard, trying to chase sort of big scores, I can see that being tough. So give me the Aussies based off their seam attack.
It is. That's very hard. I just really, this is not on the score by any means, but God, I just want it to come off first innings for England and just go from there in the series. I just really want them to score 400 day one and see what happens from there. Like Aussie media just cranking up, seeing what the Aussie bowlers do, how Aussie bat coming back at them. I just want to see England go off first test. It's an interesting one because, as you say, Jacko, it's only 3 tests. Like I've seen so many guys talk about if this is sustainable for 5 tests, baseball. Like, it doesn't have to be. Simply
it's only
doesn't
going
have
to come
to be.
off 3 times.
Only got to come off 3 times.
They won't stop
bowling's-
either.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, they're gonna go, and they're obviously talented enough where it's gonna come off at points, surely.
And I think what we've seen as well is like, it doesn't have to come off 3 times for 5 days. Like, it can just come off.
Nah.
It could only come off for 7 days of the 25 days of cricket, and that's actually going to be enough because it's such a like unrelenting and winning style of cricket.
I mean, they can get outplayed for 4 days of a test and blast 300 on the last day to win a test, a la New Zealand, and they win the test. So they're just, I don't know. I'm tempted to go 2-2. I don't know. A draw is so hard to pick, but I don't know.
That's on the
3-2.
fence.
What's that?
That's
I
on
mean,
the
I've been on
fence.
the. I'm trying to jump off, but it just. I don't know where to go.
What's
Like,
in here? What's in here? What's in
Yeah.
the heart?
I also like get tempted by what I want to happen, and I do like this Aussie team, but I also have always like hate them as well. So it's tough. I'll go 3-2 England. No, I'll go 3-2 Aussie.
Oh shit. Okay, so yeah, this is hard. And I think I said a while ago I said England 4-1. And I thought baseball will eventually steamroll Australia and they'll be too arrogant to change things up. And to be fair, some of Steve Smith's comments kind of still point in that direction, you know. But this Aussie side is really, really good. And they don't get rattled like they used to. This isn't 2019 with Tim Payne at the helm. This is Paddy Cummins and Steve Smith at the helm. And I know England have done it against good attacks, but he is right. Australia's attack I would take over any other attack, particularly if they're going to make these wickets flat like Stokes keeps going on about, which I don't know why they want to do, because that nullifies their bowlers. Because I think New Zealand, they kind of showed a bit of a weakness in that second test on flat wickets, where you can sort of grind Broad, Anderson, Robinson into the dirt, especially if Stokes isn't bowling. So I think Australia's just a better side, but I think I want England to win. I just want to see it win because I like the style of cricket, but I can't stand some of the media people. So I'm going 3-2 Australia because I think they want to win more than England do. I don't think England give a fuck about winning. You know what I mean? Like, I just think they just want to play entertaining cricket, and if they win, they win. So I don't know. So I don't know. I want to see, like Lugsy said, England get 400, 500 in a day and see what the media thinks. And I also want to see England get skittled for 60 and see what the media says. Like, I just want to see carnage. That's what I want to see.
I want to see England get skittled for 63 times in a row and see how they come out. Like,
yeah, fair.
Genuinely, I want to see like England 74 plays Aussie 389 plays England 62 and see the next test.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Right, so we go.
I think the biggest thing, like, for the series, I just want it drawn going into the last test.
Oh yeah.
Give me 0-0, give me
tough.
1-1, or give me 2-2. I think that's all you can ask for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we've just
100%.
talked about how we don't want one game and that need improving, but shit, if that last test is all to play for, that could be worth getting on the plane for.
100%.
I know a few boys in England at the moment, so we've got accommodation, sure.
No Tom.
We've got the
Should we
gear
get-
sorted from all
Should we get some
accounts.
guys on the ground? Guys on the ground. some gear on the ground. Right, weekly picks, boys. The stuff that counts. Centered around the first Ashes test. Last week we had a good week. 4 out of 6. Jacko goes 2 for 2. Jacko, you found your stride. You're pretty in form.
Yeah, it's just come on nicely. I think, as we say, I'll always give out something sort of to watch and be entertaining for a game instead of looking for safety. But, they've come off twice in a row, so hopefully I'll keep hitting and keep backing me. I'm back in the good books with a $3 punt and a $5 punt, so if you're sticking with me, we're net positive, so that's all I can ask.
Nice. And what have you got this week for us, Jacko?
Yeah, I will go. Give me Pat Cummins, top wicket taker, Test 1.
Fair.
Yeah, if I'm going to pick him for the series, I better pick him for the first game as well. And then you'll have to swing back round to me for my outside of cricket punt.
You're still
I was
working
doing
on
some
it.
research.
Lugsy, what do you got for...
Just Crusaders money line. Best franchise ever.
This is outrageous. Because I was bloody echo in this room. I was going to go Scotty Boland, top wicket taker, Aussie, first test, and sort of stick with my...
Yeah, I'm going Ollie Robinson, so we'll just rule that one out. So there we go. We didn't think that one through. So
just put Nathan Lyon.
No, it makes no sense.
We can go Robinson, England top wicket taker, and one of us Aussie top wicket taker.
Yeah.
And then I was going to go the Blues to beat the Staters.
Wow.
Head-to-head
Wow, we got some head-to-head stuff. I like it.
It's not going to be a good week overall for the team, see, because we're down 2 already. But
I was going to say, what do we do if we run the table? We won't have to worry about that this week because we're clashing, so that's good stuff. So I'll round out the bets.
It's $1 million if we run the table.
Yeah, I've got Jokic at over 29.5 points. I think the game's tomorrow, Game 5, Denver finish it off. Best team in the comp by a long, long way. So, yeah, I'm looking for Jokic to finish on like a 45, 10 and 10 or something like that, just to really nail down some legacy stuff. So, right, boys, should we do our new segment, Name the 11? We're workshopping that name, but let's stick with that for now. Simple stuff. We've got 2 guys. We have 30 seconds each to name an 11 from a match in history. You each have 1 timeout where you can stop the clock and ask 1 question to help you out. After that, time goes back on. Jacko, I'm going to hand the reins over to you as this is your idea, and I believe you have the match in time this week.
Yeah, I think some good response on the old stats naming last week. So I thought there's nothing I enjoy more on the cricket side, like on the sideline. Just sort of someone throws out a random game and you're just trying to talk through who was in it because it sparks some good memories and some players you don't think come up. So good way to sort of talk about some great sides and bring some fizz, play along at home sort of thing. So but obviously going into the Ashes, we've talked up the 05 as one of the more hype series ever. So we'll go through, we'll see who can get the most right for the 11s of the first test. So who's Australia? Crom.
Australia. You've got Crom's doing Australia, and I'm going to do England. Yeah,
perfect.
So have you got a timer sorted there, Jacko?
I've got it all set up here. So I'll say go Nomi, and then you're away.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. You got to start with this top 3, bottom 3. I think the most famous. So Warne McGrath, Lee, Boland, and then batting Hayden, Langer, Ponting. Gilchrist, keeper. I was trying to think if Pup was around then, but I'm sure he was. So Pup Clark. How many's that? 8.
Yeah.
I just get a bit. Who was the last?
Yeah, that's 30 seconds.
Oh, fuck! That goes quick.
Guys bloke spent 15 seconds on a monologue to start with.
Yeah, well, I would have taught my process through.
Talk it through afterwards, man.
You've genuinely lost 7 seconds of your 37 going, well, just, you've got to go your top.
Wait, so how many how many extra does Lugsy have to go? How many did you get?
He's got 8.
So who did he miss? Or leave it open because I actually. Yeah, I'll see if I can do that. I can see if I can do England, and I'll maybe tap
You'll
on
try
that.
Steal 3, will you?
If I can maybe steal 3, so count me down.
Yeah, 30 felt short, so maybe 45 next time.
No,
but
I like short.
I think we can be a little bit more efficient in our picks.
No,
Lugsy spending 7 seconds on why he's making his picks.
Well, I've got to talk it through.
This has got to go on
Yeah.
social, so we've got to be quick.
Yeah, all right.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
all right.
good.
Yeah, no, easy. All right, Munter, you ready?
Okay, yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Right, let's go batting order. Strauss to Trescothick, Vaughan, Ian Bell, Peterson debut, Flintoff, Garrett Jones, Giles, Harmy, Hoggard, Simon Jones. That's 11, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
what else we got? Did you say? Did he say Gilchrist?
He did.
Kadich?
Yep. Kadich was
Missed
there.
it, I did.
One more. Gillespie?
2 more. Gillespie.
One more?
And the time's up. Yep.
Okay.
Just like remembering the bloody series review, who I wouldn't have got is Damien Martin.
Martin,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a serious player, sort of lost in that era.
Yeah, because he was always a wee bit under the pump though, especially at Test but he was superb. But he had that one area of weakness which we really exposed in that unforgettable VB series. And you know when someone's got a real obvious error and like glitching sort of hole in their game, and even though they then succeed for 10 years, people can't look past it. He sort of fell victim to that.
Yeah, I think he just kind of looked like he got dwarfed by like just the greats around him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like his stats were like, they were all great stats, but they weren't on the same level as Langer, Hayden,
4,500 runs, averaging 47 nearly. So it's
He was exceptional.
Yeah, he'd be one of the best players ever for New Zealand.
He was quite smooth looking. I quite like Damien Morton.
Yeah, quite a first Test match too, actually.
That's
England got all that fizz to get skittled for under 200 twice.
Yeah, but Harmy hit Langer and Ponting in the first session, and that's all anyone cared about.
Yeah, had a much better start in the 07-08 series.
I'll tell you what, every time I think of that opening partnership, all I remember is us going over there for a test, being real fizzed up, and after one session they were 202 for none. Langer and Hayden. Or was it after at lunch maybe? I just remember just being disgusted, like gutted.
See, I just remember that test where I've got this memory of like McGrath, because he took his 500th wicket in that test, I'm pretty sure, where he had like the frosted tips.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember him absolutely skittling Vaughan and Flintoff. Like he seamed it up the hill, stumps everywhere, like just an absolute menace. And it almost like lulled Australia into a false sense of security. They're just like, it's the same old England. England.
Although, to be fair, is the biggest what if ever him standing on that cricket ball.
Oh, huge.
See, this is what like these famous test series have. They've got wee sub stories like that. Like that's
drama.
That's massive drama. Like the doc, I've watched that doco. There's a doc on YouTube. It's like an hour and a half. It's so good. And like I'm not a fan of Mark Nicholas as a commentator, but geez, a hell of a narrator in that doco.
Yeah. Vaughan talking through telling Peterson to take on Brett Lee, and then just like going into the other room, head in hands, like, oh my God, what have I just said? Would be maybe my favourite bit of TV doco ever for cricket.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, because Vaughan was quite mad after that first test because he's like, we didn't go hard. We're supposed to take on Vaughan. We're supposed to do all that. And then they come out in that second test, 400 in a day, Ponting, the wrong toss. Yeah, there are a lot of parallels, so it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Anything else you want to touch on that series, boys, or that test?
You've read all that list off pretty well, actually, to be fair, Munter.
Yeah, I'll tell you who I wouldn't have gone. I think was Garrett Jones from England.
Yeah. I just remember Jones because he's the guy that took the catch in that second test.
Yeah,
and I think when you go,
that's fair.
You know what I mean? And I think of Bell.
He cooked his knee field in the outfield, and like never played cricket again. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you mean Simon Jones? Yeah, Simon Jones. Yeah. He didn't play another test after that. What's it, third or fourth test? Fourth test, I think it is. So, he was a hell of a bowler. I just remember
He had McCallum and Salts one series.
What's that?
He had McCullum in absolute sorts over in England one series.
Oh,
McCullum was
no doubt.
batting up the order and slid straight back down.
So, yeah, snack draft this week. I was fortunate enough to come away with a pretty comprehensive victory, courtesy of the post-match beer. Honestly, I can't remember one pick being so dominant and swaying the victory. It did feel like once I had that, we were fighting for second sort of thing. Like I would have to have some really poor picks after that to
Tell
fuck
you
it
what,
up.
it wasn't that close a fight for second, quietly.
Yeah, so I didn't want to put the dig into Jacko. I think it was Sushi. I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he lost it.
I really think Jacko would have done a lot better with video when you could see him sort of explaining why those foods were great, because
Because
it's
a
pretty
bowler.
hard to. Well, it's hard to convince a guy in Calcutta when it's 58 degrees they need a cuppa.
Yeah, it is tough.
That's
I thought there was a winner. I thought the cup of tea was sensational. I think
Yeah.
the sushi. I think it's tough because you're a bowler and you're always thinking about being light on your feet. And and most people think about just gorging their faces full of food.
Yeah. Most people are going, I've got a full day of activity here. I can have whatever for lunch.
what I used to like to do as an opening stick sometimes was go up, only have a little light lunch, but just hide away heaps of stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, go out to the middle, quickly nick off, and you come back to a huge spread.
Nice.
Day done.
Yeah,
feed
because
up.
if there wasn't a spread, I definitely wouldn't nick off. That's for sure.
Oh, that's yeah.
Right, should we do a quick lottery draft? Let me share.
I'll tell you what,
those
while
screens.
you're doing that,
Yeah,
I remember what I was meant to say from last week. What about the over-under on me babysitting Harvey was set at a day?
You're just catching
I've
up.
got
Man.
19 nieces and nephews I look after.
Yeah, but it's pretty tough.
Yeah,
He's
for
pretty
how
full
long?
on. He's pretty full on, and
Yeah,
it's
this
tough.
is an hour with Mum guiding it.
Yeah. I'm talking solo jobs like at Crosby Street. Right, okay, so the odds this week, Jacko's got 50%, Lugsy with 33, and I've got 17%. So I will spin away.
Should we go over a couple of ground rules just after once we get an order, or?
Yeah, we'll do that because I'll explain what we're doing because obviously it's the roast. It's the roast job. Lugsy with the number one pick.
I'm not sure this will help me at all.
No, this is not. I don't think this is a good one to get number one. That's for sure.
Do you? Well, you don't.
Nah. I'd prefer that third slot, if I'm honest. Jacko
Get it
with
too.
the 2. That's not bad. That's not bad. Jacko with the 2 slot, and I'm bringing up the rear. So this week, boys, it is sides that go with the roast. So this week, it's things that go with the roast. So picture a nice wee Sunday roast with your family. Maybe it's chicken, maybe it's lamb. It doesn't matter. What goes with that roast in your mind that makes it better? That makes it what it is when you picture yourself having a perfect roast. Any other ground rules we need to discuss? Or
Are we talking simply on the plate, or are we talking post-roast? Maybe a beverage to accompany a roast?
I think
These
you
sort
got to
of
be having the
questions.
roast. I feel post roast feels
Post-roast.
You can't just choose your favourite dessert.
Well,
you
that's
can't-
where I was.
Are you just gonna pick your favorite that granola thing that you have on breakfast the next day?
That certainly takes a few options off my board.
I think a drink that accompanies the roast. If you think it makes it better, I think that's fair game.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That gives me quite a rogue drink, but I don't know if I'll pick it, but I will float it afterwards. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I'll see what's on the board at some stage. So,
Yeah.
Lugsy, have you got an idea what you're running with that number one pick?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Look, no, I'm not going to go where you think I'm going to go because I don't think it's the right number one. I think you've got to stay simple here. You can't have a dry roast. You get a roast, you need gravy. It's got to go number one.
That for me was probably the unanimous number one pick.
There's probably two available options, and that's the better of the two, I felt.
Yeah.
Now, are we, just on that note, are we saying Yeah, no, I think we are. So I'll just leave that out, and I'll get another something shortly, and you can veto it if needed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think gravy had to go one. I think it saves a dry roast. It sort of covers everything else. But I think what could be more make or break for a roast than the meat is the roast spuds.
Yeah.
If they come out crispy, if they've got a wee crunchy bit on the bottom, the potato can almost be better than the meat when it comes to a roast. So yeah, give me roast spud at 2.
Now,
a good roast spud is very, very good.
Now, are you boys gravy on everything or just the meat?
Oh,
Yeah,
everything.
gravy on.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's like gravy with a side of roast. That's what it is.
Yes. That's wrong.
That's what we're dealing with. Right. Okay. So my number one pick is, I think, you guys pretty much nailed that. I would, those were pretty high up. I had 3 number ones, and you guys took 2 of them. So I'll take the other one. I'm gonna go stuffing. So stuffing in the say it's like turkey, it's your chicken. Like I went through a stage when I was in Nipper where I probably enjoyed the stuffing more than the actual meat.
Stuffing
I love
semis?
stuffing. Stuffing
I had a
was
stuffing
that
semi
good.
today actually.
It was that good. So I'll take that with my 3 slot. After that, I do think it drops a little bit, but it's probably personal preference from here. So I'm going to go roast carrot, I think. I do like a good carrot, so I'll go a roast carrot.
Yeah. I think there's the big 3 and then there's everything else. What do I want to go here? I'll get roast pumpkin. I think it just offers something a bit different. Bit of sweetness in there. I do quite like a pumpkin on top of me next to my potatoes and the meat.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think it's good here as we're all sort of getting our favourite veggie. So on that note, I won't hesitate to take the roast kumara. Potentially a touch pricey,
good veggie.
So that's why if Mum's making it, I ask for it. Love a roast kumara.
As opposed to the roast you make yourself.
Well, who else is, mate? Do you have a roast at Crosby Street? Does Hayden sort of drop a wee roast on you?
I don't know. I'm gonna try not to take offence to this, Dak. Like we can't cook a roast. We whip up a Sunday roast occasionally.
Oh, nice. Good job.
Hayden won't need to deny or confirm that.
Don't ask Hayden.
The thing, I think there's a lot of good other options in terms of like sauces on the board, but I just don't feel like I need it with having gravy up top. So we're gonna pivot to an old favourite here. It's a Sunday roast. You've got your Sunday roast, you got your veggies, you got your gravy. You need a beer on the side.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick.
Take it. Last pick. Yeah. You got to have a wee Spates, a wee Sammy on the side, or you're pleasing.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good roster you're sort of piling together because you kind of almost got like there'll be some people out there that will like roast kumara over roast spuds. There will be plenty of people out there. Yeah, so I think it's a good wee roster you're running there.
Yeah, I can't really see. Not great veggie options left. I'll take you to Christmas when the roast comes out, and this sort of takes you back as a nipper when you can't drink alcohol. There's always that bowl of sparkling grape on the table, which I don't know why, but next to a roast or at Christmas time, that just becomes one of the best drinks. It carries through from childhood.
This could well be the cup of tea pick of the draft.
Yeah. Give me sparkling grape.
I can't believe that's your pick.
I'll send the photo through. Well, I'm not taking any of the veggies left, and I can't think of any sauces.
Holy shit.
When I think Christmas, I think sparkling grape.
Shit. Well, I'm going to go rogue because, I'm going to go rogue as well. So, I don't know if you've had it, Lugsy, because I only had it when I was in the UK, and they always have them with their roasts. It's a Yorkshire pudding.
Oh yeah.
Where you can get them here, but it's not really a big deal. So I only become accustomed to it when I moved to the UK, and they are unbelievable. It's basically like this wee cup holder, this pastry cup holder, that you fill to the brim with gravy, and it's unbelievable. I don't know why they call it Yorkshire pudding, because you have it with your roast.
So
but,
you've got it, but since I've got the gravy here, are you getting everything? You're getting it without gravy, or if you just stole gravy off me in a weird way?
No, I mean you can have it without gravy,
that.
but it's just better without gravy. Like anything, everything's. That's why gravy's the number one pick.
Yeah.
Everything is better with gravy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Yorkshire pudding, huge miss from me. The place I stayed at in the UK had plate-sized Yorkshire puddings. So like the roast was just sitting inside the Yorkshire pudding. And it was
like it's a diabetes sort of roast.
It's a huge miss, the Yorkshire pud. But yeah, as you said, it's not huge over here.
Nah.
But it should be bigger because they're very, very good.
Yeah. Too easy. Righto. Should we sign off, or you got anything other takes?
Well, just a couple of. See, I think like depending on the roast, like say you're having a roast pork, I think apple sauce is a massive one. Mint sauce, some would have cracking.
Mint sauce for me.
Cracking's a good one. Yeah, for your roast pork.
Some people have that sort of number one.
That's a good one.
But
I didn't think about roast pork.
Yeah. Are you having crackling with any of the other roast meats?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably.
You're not having You're not having stuffing with roast lamb, though, are you?
No, exactly.
It has to be
But
chicken.
you're not having just crack. You're not getting crackling to have with your chicken. You can. No, they do stuffing on the side in the States though.
Oh, do they?
Like
but they don't cook. They don't cook it with the. They don't cook it like obviously because obviously you stick
not
it
like inside the
two.
chicken.
Yeah, right.
They have it as like a tray sort of thing.
Yeah, it's good, man.
You're
It's
a
so
row
good.
bunch of humans over there.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I'd actually take back how I said that. I think the third pick. I think because you boys nailed your first two picks. I think that really made that third pick like quite difficult. I think Lugsy might have nailed it here. I think that gravy pick, and I think he's pretty much nailed it with the rest. He's gonna be tough to take down. So, good work.
Cheers. Feels like I've won, but I
Yeah,
actually
really
haven't. So.
That is us for another week. Thanks to Lugsy and Jacko. Huge week coming up. Going to be a bit of a funky schedule coming up with the Ashes starting Fridays. So keep an eye on the socials for when our pods are dropping. Reminder, the Patreon is relaunching from July 1st. Extra podcasts, more content, Q&As, Discord channel. It's all happening. Check out patreon.com/Maximum Cricket to support the channel and get some awesome extra content. See you next week, boys.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, chap.
Hey, mate. Yeah, cheers.